Hello, everybody. My name is Dalton Rutlinger, and welcome back to Sailwind. Sailwind just recently had a miniature update, and I'm going to go ahead and read off what all has changed, because it wasn't like a major update, but it did bring a lot of stuff into the game. It didn't add like any new archipelagos, any new ships or anything, but it did change the way the game looks and acts in some ways. Okay, so reading off the Discord. We have reduced baseline drag on all boats, which means that the boat should sail slightly faster in most conditions. Increased rudder drag, so whenever you turn the helm all the way to either hard starboard or hard port, you're going to slow down significantly. So if you want to keep your speed up, you're going to need to turn very gradually. More realistic mooring lines. Mooring ropes now have a fixed length. I'm going to be honest, I think this might be the most heartbreaking part for pretty much everybody involved because those mooring lines have really helped us out in a lot of situations. Um, after tying a rope to a dock, After tying a rope to a dock mooring, you can now grab the boat end of the rope and pull or release it manually, scroll wheel by default. Improved boat Improved boat wake and foam effects. Water should now react to the movement of your boat in a more realistic manner. Your selected currency is now saved between sessions. Wasn't that already in the game? Jumping now cancels crouch, various bug fixes, yada 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 yada. So yeah, nothing new in terms of like additional content, like another archipelago, another boat, wildlife, whatever. But we're gonna go ahead and take a little look-see at this little miniature update and see how it looks. I'm just gonna go ahead and start a new game here, and we'll just go for Alank, because this will probably be the region that I start in whenever I do my next playthrough. Okay, so for starters, let's see how far we can actually take the mooring line. Okay, so I mean that's still a pretty good chunk of a distance, though. Like, hang on. Okay, so it goes to about... So to about here-ish, almost halfway, well, it's like the fourth plank, if you will, from this. That's still, like, a pretty good chunk of distance. Okay, and let's test out another thing here. Let's go ahead and tie this back up. So if I use the mouse wheel, I can now, like, tighten the boat against the docks. That's interesting. But it doesn't look like you're going to be able to, like, just launch your ship out to sea like you used to be able to do. I think now... Now you're definitely going to have to have the wind pretty much at your mercy. Or you're going to be pretty much at the mercy of the wind, I should say. Let's do a bit of testing here. Let's connect you to this one. No. Okay. Just go ahead and just leave that tied up like that. So, yeah, the days of, like, launching your ship out to sea from port are pretty much done, it looks like. It's very much a double-edged sword in many ways. Like, in some ways I approve, in other ways I can just think of how dreadful it's going to be for a lot of people, especially for people that are just starting out. Okay, let's grab a quick little mission, and we'll test out some other things. Run to Al Nylon. Yeah, we'll take the lamb. Okay. I'm not going to worry about making too much money, because this is probably going to be a save game that I delete sooner or later. Let's go ahead and just get the rest of these. Okay, so for anybody who's new to this, and you're just kind of stumbling across this video just out of chance, in this game, if you take an interest in it, or if you already have it in your sales, if you already have it in your Steam library and you're having trouble with it, one thing you want to be very, very careful of is your character actually has weight, and the boats have weight limits. You see how just moving from side to side rocks the boat back and forth? Yeah, your character has weight, and everything else has weight as well. So what I would recommend doing is most of the stuff here on this table you don't really need. The lantern is something that can stay. It's not mandatory for it to stay. The map, you will definitely need the map. Yeah, I said most things on the table. Most of the stuff you actually want to keep. Just go ahead and do that. The table itself can be sold just to get yourself a little bit of extra money. But the main thing you're going to want to look at is the scroll that can be found on the table, because it goes through all the basic information that you're going to need to know. So definitely do not throw this away until you're actually familiar with how the boat handles and whatnot. And this thing, the compass, do not throw this away or lose it or anything else, because you will need that. Without your compass, you're basically screwed. It is hands down the most important piece of equipment that you have. But one thing you can do is you can definitely sell the table just to get yourself a bit of extra money. See, it gives you like 33 extra coins. Your currency is down here. There are 4 currencies in the game. That's how many. You have the All-Onk Lions, which is the currency for the region we're in. You have the Emerald Dragons, which is for the Emerald Archipelago, which is the medium difficulty. And then you have the Astron Crowns, which are for the hard start. The Emerald Archipelago is the most inflated economy, so be aware of that. Most of your All-Onk Lions, though, I think it's 10 All-Onk Lions convert to gold coins. You use gold coins to purchase other ships whenever you finally build up the finances to actually afford a new ship. I'm just going to All Nylum, so I don't really need that much supplies. I just wanted to show that off to anybody who's new. Another thing that's going to be required is you're going to have food up here at the very front, and then water back here at the very back in this barrel. Okay. I do have a Let's Play of this for anybody who's curious and wants to know more about the game, so feel free to check it out. It's basically complete now, so the only thing I didn't do is I didn't find Kronos, which is an island that's way, way, way off to the east. Okay, so we want to head basically just dead north. We want to head for this island over here. Now, I know this game pretty well. I know where most islands are, so for anybody who's new, this is your map right here. It shows you where all the islands actually are. Some of these are completely barren. There's nothing there. Like the Isle of Clear Mine, which is the island that's straight ahead of us. That's a barren island. And Lion's Fang is just basically a rock sticking up out of the water. Everywhere else, though, is a town or some sort of settlement that you can deliver to. But you want to be careful in the Easy Start. I've actually spoken about this in my Let's Play. The Easy Start is actually, to my mind, one of the harder starts because these islands are tiny. Like, they are itty-bitty little bitty. It's very, very, very easy to sail right by an island and not even know it. Whereas, if you start an Astron, which is the hard start difficulty, the ship is a little bit harder to manage, but you're going to be able to see your destination clear as day, for the most part. Okay, so we have some new physics to the boat, apparently. Oh yeah, look at that. I don't think we had wakes in the game before, did we? I think it just... Okay. I think it just like, splashed. It didn't show, like, the actual wake. That's really cool. I like that. Oh, yeah, then back here at the rudder of the ship, that's really fancy. Okay, so let's test something out here. I don't really have a way of gauging our speed yet. But maybe if we turn the sail a little bit like that, we might be able to get just a tiny bit more speed. Okay, so let's... Oh, by the way, you press the C key to go into third person. Or switch back to first. So, let's test out the maneuverability here. It's going to do a hard to starboard. Oh, yeah. That does slow us down, but I think we were already going pretty slow as it was, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Unless I'm mistaken, this is actually the slowest boat in the game. You can upgrade your boats by going to the capital city of any region. There'll be a dockyard there. There'll be a dockyard you can dock your ship at, and you can actually upgrade it. You can put on new sails. You can put on some new masts. You can change the cover if you want. You can even take away the cover if you want. There's a fair amount of things you can do. Maybe not a lot of things you can do, but there's definitely some kind of customization that can help you out. You want to be careful though, because if you put a sail that's too big on board your boat, you'll likely get blown off course pretty easily. Me personally, what I would probably do is I would keep the current sail, because this sail is... You're going to catch wind from just about any angle. A gaff sail might be somewhat better, but I don't think you'd really need it. Then I'd probably put some stray sails up here as well. Jib sails. That's the word I was looking for. You can put some jib sails up there. Yeah, I'm not gonna cut too much out here. I want new people to be able to see like what this game is actually like. You got to keep in mind, like, this is a game that's about sailboats back in probably like mid-colonial times, maybe. Like, kind of like the golden age of sail, basically, is what I would describe this game as. There's no, like, steam engine or anything like that, but you don't have oars or anything to, you know, help you go against the wind or anything. And there's no action, like ship fights or anything like that. You're basically a merchant traveling from one island to another, just trying to earn a living. And it's going to take some time, but you can become pretty wealthy pretty quickly. Just keep in mind, there's no fast travel. If you look at the map, it doesn't show you exactly where you are. The game doesn't hold your hand. You have to learn the game as you go on. But I would suggest watching my Let's Play of it if you are having a hard time figuring it out, because I struggled at the beginning, but I eventually became a master of it. I mean, well, master, quote unquote. I got pretty comfortable with the game where I knew pretty much where everything was, and I learned the trades and all that kind of stuff, so. Yeah, you're not going to be making, especially in this boat, you're not going to be making progress very quickly. It's I would argue it's probably the slowest boat. Although it might be the slowest, I believe it can actually hold the most weight. The ship you start off with in the Emerald Archipelago is an absolute piece of crap. It's probably the faster of the starting ships, but it has absolute no cargo weight or cargo space at all whatsoever. You'll be lucky if you can fit like 2 crates of cargo in it. you got to keep in mind this green energy down here is your fatigue. This is how tired you are. The blue bar is how thirsty you are. Your yellow bar is how hungry you are. You have to have ample food supplies and water supplies to get you from destination to destination. It's not. There's not a way of turning it off either, at least not yet, as this recording is happening. So, whenever you're starting off, probably just one crate of food will probably be enough to do you in, because I wouldn't recommend like going on any like major long voyages. Like this one is pretty short. It's pretty simple. I would suggest either going from Neverden to Gold Rock City or Neverden to All Nylum, just as like a basic tutorial run, basically, just so you can kind of learn how the boat operates. Don't take too much weight with you. Don't max out the ship until you're familiar with how it handles and what you're capable of. But I am absolutely loving the ripple effect. You can even see it, like, yeah, in first person. That's really cool. I don't know if even Sea of Thieves has that. Sea of Thieves. If the community wasn't so freaking toxic, I would probably play it a little bit more often. Now, for these smaller boats, there's going to be some cargoes you cannot take. There's going to be things like logs, sculptures, iron, copper, gold, so on and so on. You want to be very, very, very careful whenever you take heavier loads. I think this particular ship has a weight limit of about 1,000 pounds, or the weight system, whatever the weight system is, be it pounds or kilograms, whatever. It's basically got 1,000. This thing. Then I think the cog has a weight limit of a little bit less than that. I don't think it can hold as much as this. In fact, I know it can't hold as much as this because I've accidentally sunk that ship before, carrying like just as much weight as this thing was carrying at one point. And the Cacum, the ship that you get in the Emerald Archipelago, I have no idea what its weight limit actually is. Alright, so it's getting kind of late in the day. We've still got a ways to go before we reach our destination. I don't know if we can see it in the haze. One thing you can actually do is see how far away that island is over there. If you just turn your head to where it looks, where the island is on the side of the screen, you can actually see it a little bit closer up. It's a very weird effect, but it definitely helps. It's probably going to be the closest thing you have to having like an actual telescope until you can actually buy a telescope, which are very important, or very expensive in this game. They're very important as well. I think, yeah, that's our island over there on the left. You can just kind of see it. All right, so let's start heading over there. And you'll be able to tell what kind of cargo is available just by looking at the settlement. Some settlements are for farming, some settlements are for mining, other settlements are like colleges and universities. What's the word I'm looking for? Places where like they grow grapes for wine and stuff like that. I can't think of the actual name of it. Vineyard. There we go. Yeah, some places are vineyards. So you'd be like importing things that they would need, be it food, water, other basic supplies, but then you're going to be exporting. Um, if you go to a vineyard, you're going to be like exporting wine, rum, alcohol, some other basic goods. But for the most part, it's going to be, you go to a certain place and you're going to be exporting something that makes sense. If you go to a mining town, you're probably going to be exporting copper, iron, uh, gold, gems, numerous other things like that. It's going to make sense in some way or another. And typically, the way it works is, let me show you the map. If you look at Gold Rock City, that giant blob that's right there in the middle, all right, it's surrounded by a ring of different settlements. Basically, Gold Rock City will export food and basic general supplies that these other settlements will need. In turn, these settlements will send their raw resources back to Gold Rock City. And that's pretty much the way it is for most archipelago, well, pretty much every archipelago. And you can even trade between regions as well. Like, this is not just the game itself here. There's a vast, vast, vast ocean out there, and you can actually travel from one archipelago to the other. But be prepared to spend some time doing it, because it's not a short, easy journey. That's actually another reason why starting in Astron is actually the best start there is, because there's a trade wind that actually kind of goes in a circular motion around the entire map. And the way it works is it goes counterclockwise. And unfortunately, the easiest way to go from one archipelago to the other is to sail directly east from here. You'll be going from Alank, our current region, to the Emerald Archipelago, which is straight east of here. It's even in the same latitude. The problem is, the wind blows directly from the Emerald Archipelago. So you're going to be sailing into the wind that entire journey, and it's going to take you a long, long time. It is a miserable journey, believe me. I've done it many, many, many times. But I wouldn't recommend doing that until A, you're very familiar with how the game operates, and 2, you at least buy one of the bigger ships. Going out into the open ocean in this thing especially is it ain't for the faint of heart. Let's say that. The waves out there get very, very big, and there are storms in the game, and they do not mess around. All right, so the sun's going down. Now, I before I go to bed, I should probably point out something here. I'm going to raise up the sail, too, that way we don't run into the island. I'll leave it down just a little bit. That way we don't get, like, pushed way out there. In vanilla game, your lantern will have fuel. You don't want to leave this thing running for too long, but there is a mod that allows the lanterns to have basically completely unlimited fuel. And you can actually decorate your ship with them quite a bit and just leave them, running the entire time. Anyway, let's go ahead and sleep through the night. And for the new people, this will be one of the more frustrating things you have to deal with. Is once you go to sleep and you see this green bar, you can't wake up from it. So you want to be very, very, very careful about when you go to bed. If you're like right next to the island you're trying to get to, or you're right next to an island you're sailing by, it's probably best for you to just raise up the sails, drop the anchor, and go to bed then. That way you don't get like pushed completely off course, or you don't sail directly into the island. Because now that you don't have the mooring lines to help you out anymore, it's going to be a royal pain in the butt to unbeach yourself if you run into any problems. And the wind in this game is going to be a constant enemy. It's very, very, very rarely ever with you. It is with you in like the very beginning for the most part, but after that, you're going to be doing a lot of headwind sailing. You're going to be sailing into the wind quite a lot. Okay, we've woken up very thirsty. Let's go ahead and take a drink. Oh yeah, see, even with the sails up, we kind of sailed right past this. I guess I didn't put them up completely, though. Okay, let's go ahead and lower these again. Now, I am turning directly into the wind, but I should hopefully have enough momentum that I can make this turn. The question is... I think I'm actually stuck dead in the water here, which is fine. Because this gives me a chance to show this off. If you run into a situation where you're stuck in a headwind like this and the ship is refusing to turn, one thing you can do is you can hop out the back and actually hold down the F key once you have the bottom of the boat lit up like that. And you can just push the boat. This works on the bigger vessels as well. But it looks like they might have changed a couple things. Oh. Come on, turn, 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 please turn. Oh. Yeah, there we go. We should be catching at least some wind now. You know, these things sticking out of the water up here, those mark where the ocean floor is really low, or really high, I guess, technically. It indicates that there's a shallow bottom there, so you want to be careful going in that particular area. And another thing you want to be careful of, don't catch too much wind in your sail, because you will capsize, and your ship will sink. Now, as for the moment, your ship doesn't take on water in a storm, but that might change in the future. I'm going to go ahead and get us prepared for docking. And there's something I want to test out, too, whenever we get to the dock here. Yeah, now that you can't just, like, jump over to the dock and just, you know, attach your mooring line to it, you're going to want to come in at a controlled angle, at a controlled speed. That way you don't just sail like straight on past it, and you can't just make your ship zip like directly to the dock anymore either. That used to be a feature, and it was a very handy feature if you were just kind of sick and tired of being stuck out in the ocean. You could just kind of swim to the dock and hook up the mooring line, and the ship would just come zipping into port. But that is now a thing of the past. It was a very helpful feature, but I guess we'll have to learn how to manage without it now. Anyway, yeah, the wind's kind of pushing us. Where we don't want to be here. Let's go ahead and reel this up. Okay, this is what I wanted to test out. Okay, so it does stop the actual ship. Does it reel it back in as well? Or do you have to do that yourself? Nah, it looks like you might have to do it yourself. Okay. So, what we want to do, grab this and just start pulling us into the dock. I guess there's not really any real reason to do this other than just, you know, role-playing. In real life, you'd want to have your ship as tight as possible to the dock so it doesn't, you know, get carried away by the current or if somebody, like, bumps into it or whatever. I'm going to say that's good enough. Anyway, so what you want to do is you grab your cargo and you take it up to this guy. You want to look for the blue flag with an anchor on it. You just bring it into that building and the guy automatically collects it. Now, most islands will have shops and some sort of market on it, so you can actually resupply on most islands, but be aware that not every island does. In this particular region, it is the Academy that doesn't really have that much of a market, as well as the Alchemist Island. They have some things you can buy in terms of food and I think water, but it's very limited. And there's also some Easter eggs in the game. If it's open, I'll show you. This island has the biggest bottles in the game. These hold, I believe, it's 10 drinks per go. Whereas most bottles, it's only 5. So let's go ahead and just buy these, and I'll show you the difference. Yeah, and you can see here, there's a lot of mining equipment here. So this is a quarry town or a mining town. Unfortunately, the cranes don't move or anything. It'd be really cool to, to see these things in action. That way there's just some kind of livelihood. But here's the quarry over here. You can actually go down there if you want, but there's nothing down there. Hang on. I'm going to let my intrusive thoughts win here. Can I... Oh, wait, nope. Standing on the fence. That's what it was. Okay, so this plank doesn't actually exist. That's unfortunate. I was going to try and jump on these platforms up here. I was going to try and be Mario. Anyway. So we got the mission done. And while I'm thinking about it, while I'm passing by, I can't show you because I don't have enough reputation. This is the trade book. Whenever you want to make, like, serious money, go to this book and start looking at the actual trading prices, because the missions are good for reputation. They don't really do that much for money, but they will give you your reputation that you need. This is how you make the actual money that you need. Because if I go to my log here, you have a reputation in every single region. Like right now, my reputation is 93 out of 300. It goes up very quickly at first, but it goes up very, very, very slowly later on. And you need reputation to unlock Kronos, which is the island that's way, way, way far out. Anyway, I was going to show you these bottles real quick, and then I think I'm going to call it a video. So you have the regular bottle, which can hold 5. Yeah, see right there, 5 out of 5. Then you have these bottles, which hold 10. So that's both a blessing and a curse at the same time, so be very aware of it, because you don't have unlimited food or water in these barrels. It's a very finite amount, and you'll go through it a lot faster than you think you will. But anyway, that's all the time I've got for you guys for now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.